design thinking focuses on a lot more fundamental things, right? So one of the key things that it espouses is you need to have empathy with your customers.
The word design thinking has definitely become a buzzword today. Behind anything successful which has sustained the ever changing market dynamics lies a great design going into the genesis of it. What exactly design thinking is, and what suggestions would you like to offer to your industry peers and growth phase organizations to achieve better UI and UX experience for both internal and external users?
Okay, first to start with, right? Design thinking is not just confined to UI and UX. Okay, that's probably what do you call an easy area that everyone attributes design thinking to UI and UX design, but that's not really the case. Design thinking focuses on a lot more fundamental things, right? So one of the key things that it espouses is you need to have empathy with your customers, and and, uh, a very interesting or a different way in which it actually approaches problem solving is to say, do not jump into solution. Ensure you're actually asking the right questions. In fact, as our chairman keeps emphasizing, he spends a lot more time in helping us identify, are we asking those right questions? Because he says that is more important than getting to a solution. Because if you have the right questions, the answers will automatically be visible in front of you. And design thinking, by the way, it's not just something that we look at as an interesting aspect. It's actually now part of the DNA of our organization. We believe that good design is at the heart of better business. So anything that we do, can we apply design thinking in a manner that helps us connect to not just the technology part of it, or to say it's applied only to UI, UX as an area, but how do we apply it across all the three key pillars, the business, the technology, and the operations of a bank or an insurance company, to uniquely engineer solutions that give you that kind of an unprecedented value and making it a good collaborative experience, right? So I think that is the fundamental shift in the thought process that design thinking brings to your table. Not just looking at something as a solution to be just solved as a technology, because you solve something, there is an impact that cuts across the business, the technology, and the operations, each person having its own impact, having their own perspectives, and how all of that actually come together to get that actual value. So there are a few rules that or laws of design thinking, if I have to specifically highlight, right? The first law that we harp on a lot, less is more. So in effect, what we say is, don't try to add too much stuff. Don't try to do something more. Don't try to over-engineer. Don't try to spend too much time on one thing. Rather, remove redundancy and focus on really what matters to the users. So effectively reduce complexity, keep it simple. Now, we have always heard of the famous keep it simple sequence, but then you take a step back and see how to apply that across the board. Then you need other laws that helps you actually achieve that. And the second law stems from that, which is basically to say the last 2% is 200%. So you go to buy a car, okay? You have plethora of companies having multitude models that are actually being put in front of you as a customer. Why would you pick one car as compared to another? Because a car is just a vehicle that is supposed to help you drive, be it a manual shift or an auto shift. It just helps you drive, move from one place to another with having other passengers together at a high level. That's all it is. But then what drives a person to identify themselves with a particular model or a particular feature that a car provides or a car maker provides, that helps them relate to it and actually get that personal connect with it, right? That is that last 2%. And without that last 2%, every other car effectively becomes the same. So, and this 2%, we believe from that in the technology world, it is not the smartness of the technology. It is not to say technology A does this, in a pretty cool fashion as compared to technology B. An end user doesn't care. What the end user really cares is, how does it solve my problem? Is the technology helping me empathize? Not necessarily always. So what is it that we are looking to do to empathize with the user, to understand their unstated needs, and how are we actually providing that? So a lot of examples that are there to showcase this difference of this last 2% that helps really show how a particular product actually has taken pains to understand that last 2% that has really given them that 200% gap or difference in their ability to create the differentiation in the market. And the third rule, which is again helps you in the less is more, is to have prioritization that gives you 10x effectiveness. So typically you take prioritization, everyone says make it low, medium, high, or to say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in a linear growth fashion, etc. Right? So that's a typical approach that people take. But you really want to identify what is the critical item, change your prioritization levers to give you 10x benefits. So in the way that we approach it is to say we have 3 levels of prioritization. We have a 10 gram, a 100 gram, and a 1,000 gram prioritization. So my best ideas, or the place where I need to focus my energy on, is my 1,000 gram items, because that gives me 10x more effectiveness, efficiency, water value benefits that I'm looking for, than the second best idea, which can only give me 100 gram benefits, and 100x more effective than the third idea, that is 10 gram. So the traditional lever of evaluating or doing prioritization as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or whatever does not really help evaluate the impact of the scale of impact, the scale of effectiveness of that particular option or solution that you're jumping for. So this again has clearly helped us identify which option that we are evaluating gives us really a 100x effectiveness or 100x jump in value that we provide to our customers. And that these 3 laws is something that we have found giving us a lot of value, and that we use it a lot today as part of our DNA within Intellect Design.